Today I'm talking about Louis Vuitton Spring-Summer 2016. One of the reasons that we're choosing this today, which is quite special, is that it's creative director Nicolas Ghesquiere's 10th anniversary at the Maison, which in fashion terms is a very long time. Not many people get the privilege of taking over such an important and huge legacy house like Nicolas has. I think this collection is really important for a number of reasons. It was a few years into his tenure, and I think this is where we really start to see some of his language evolve and some of those signatures and codes that he became known for start to really emerge. But also I think this was one of the first times that this love of futurism, this feeling of sci-fi, this kind of quite avant-garde aesthetic is coming into his language at the house. Some of the really key looks in this collection are the ones that carry this amazing embellishment or some of his most interesting techniques with fabric. We can see on some of these shorts that he's done these embellished chevrons, almost like beading that's been appliqued onto the front of them. The same goes for some dresses. There's this amazing chainmail. And in doing that with all this metallics, it has got this industrial edge. In particular, there are these incredible dresses that close the show. He's made them out of this metal, for want of a better word. It looks like almost like steel wool. The year that this came out is also important. This was around the time of things like Bitcoin going mainstream. This was kind of the time where the future as we'd imagined it was really coming to life. He is so interested in how our lives intersect with the future, with the virtual, with the artificial. I think something else that's really important to know about Ghesquiere is he is so interested in sci-fi. He's a big fan of sci-fi. Key to that is that I think he finds a kind of fantasy and optimism in this. I think we have this idea of the future as being quite cold, quite clinical, and there is elements of that in this collection, that silver light, that blue coldness of digital screens. But I think that he sees an optimism in that, and he sees that there is fantasy and there is a sense of dreaming about what could be and possibilities. So on the other hand, I feel he brings a warmth into these collections and reminds us that there is, this isn't something to be afraid of. The future is coming, but it's a part of our lives, and he's working out a vocabulary that embraces both. There are little details in this collection that feel really human and almost crafty. There's whip stitches, there's braiding. The models had this incredible braided hair at the front. There's these little hints of the human and warmth and romanticism. Another really key thing with Ghesquiere is this idea of travel, and I think in this collection we're seeing his interpretation of that as time travel. He has this really remarkable ability to look forward, to look at historical references, to look to the future. There are some of these Victorian style and Edwardian style buttons. There are these beautiful romantic white dresses with bubble hems and these Elizabethan collars. But then on top of that, he's melding that with something that feels totally contemporary and totally forward facing. A really good example of that is his accessories. Louis Vuitton is a heritage house that has an incredible history in luxury trunk making. Beginning in 1854, the founder Louis Vuitton came up with a brand new way to create these trunks that were easily stackable, durable. Ghesquiere's not forgotten this, and he's placed these into these incredible bags for now. There is this incredible quilting and padding on bags like the Go 14. That padding and quilting is actually taken from the inside of one of the original trunks that was used to protect people's items inside and keep them safe. And he's really put that on the outside. It's almost taking the inside and the core of the DNA and putting it on show proudly and displaying it in this new, fresh way. The other thing that I think is really important is the use of the monogram. I mean, that's something that we all know is instantly Louis Vuitton, but he has placed this, on modern waistcoats. But one of my favorite ways is, I think, on the Petit Mal. Something else that's really important to mention is the casting of Australian model Fernanda Lee. She'd actually been cast on an exclusive with Louis Vuitton, which had launched her career. She has this unmistakable pink hair, which was just so perfectly in step with this collection. He also referenced anime and this beautiful cartoonish type beauty, and I think with this pink hair and this almost futuristic tiara that she's wearing on her head, it captures that perfectly. One of the reasons that we look back at this collection now is that this was a real turning point and a real assertion of how interested he was in the future. For a house that was so preoccupied with this idea of heritage, this idea of craftsmanship, which is still really present, to make such a bold statement in looking to the future, to be so unashamedly futuristic without actually leaving the past behind, is just so key in someone's journey at a house like this, and I think in establishing what we all know to be Louis Vuitton now.